we're on a happiness quest.
Yes.
And the part of this scenario that gets us is when we lose that feeling of happiness, then we have to start chasing it again.
Okay.
And your chase may look different than the mom next to you. It may be a house chase. Who's got the cleanest? Who's got the most updated? All that kind of stuff. It might be a kid chase. I want my kids to be successful like your kids. We're chasing something. It's this idea of happiness that the world has sold us. Mm-hmm. This looks good on you and feels good on you. Go after it. And hopefully, I hope for all of you, you've gotten to that place in life where you figured out it does not satisfy. Hi, moms. Welcome back to the Gather Moms podcast. I was listening to our podcast last week because I do this in my car. I like to listen to us. I don't know if Kate listens to us.
I sometimes do, and it's not necessarily because I like to listen to us. It's more of like, did we say something dumb?
I love listening to us because I laugh again at all the fun things we said. But I noticed you and I say the exact same thing every time. Same inflection points.
When we start it?
Hey, moms. Welcome back to the Gather Moms podcast.
I know.
I was like, what else could I say?
Yeah. I don't know. My sister sent me a picture. She was at Walmart and she was in the Mother's Day section. And she saw, there's a mug that says, ain't no hood like the motherhood. And she said, When I tell you, when I saw this, I heard it in your voice.
Exactly. Yes.
And, to be honest, I've always kind of wondered if, it's okay for us to say, ain't no hood like the motherhood. It's a little sus, but it's not bad. I think it's fine.
I'm pretty sure our pastor this weekend said half hood, half holy. So I don't know. I think maybe it's okay.
I think it could potentially offend somebody. But it's also like when we were writing that, it was like trying to make sure that we articulated like who we are and what we're about. Like, we're fun and silly and
from the hood.
Half hood, half holy really
the
describes
Wood Creek
us,
hood.
actually.
We from the Wood Creek hood.
Yes. Yeah, so.
Well, I'm going to try it different today. Howdy, y'all. Welcome.
Okay.
No? Okay. Listen, I was just trying to give y'all a little variety in your life because it's May and I am going crazy with all the things that are happening in my life. So I feel like any piece of joy that jumps in front of me is worth it for this time of life.
Okay. What up, homie? I don't know what else you could say.
Kate channeled her hood there. Hood.
Oh, I guess I'm in that mode.
Yes,
yeah.
you are.
No, it is May. I've got scrambled eggs for brains. I
thought you were going to say I had scrambled eggs for breakfast.
I did have scrambled eggs for breakfast. Okay, let me tell you. It's the small things in life. It's the small things in life that bring me so much joy. So I'm in this kick right now where I'm eating breakfast tacos for breakfast.
That's what I had.
Really?
Yes, girl. It's my favorite.
Okay.
What do you put on yours?
Well, but now I have what I was laughing about at myself in the kitchen this morning because I don't eat till after the kids leave. So it's quiet, and I'm like listening to a podcast or something. And I'm making these breakfast tacos and I have this whole system now. I use one pan and I heat everything in the one pan, so it's like, but I have a whole little system because I don't know if you do this, but I'm a real snob about tortillas. And I put a little butter in the pan and warm the tortillas with the butter. You do too?
Yes, and it gets a little crisp on the outside.
Okay, friends, this may be the nugget that you need to take away today.
Nothing spiritual, nothing helpful practically, just how you make some breakfast tacos.
If you are not heating your tortillas in a pan with a little bit of butter, you are missing out on one of the best things in life.
You can eat it just the tortilla because it's that good.
Yes. Okay, and so we bake up a whole thing of bacon at the beginning of the week and like cook it in the oven. So then in the morning when I'm making my little breakfast tacos, all I'm doing is scrambling a couple eggs, grab a couple of those pieces of bacon, put a little cheese and salsa, and we are done. And
okay, so I'm about
to
take it to the next level.
Uh-oh.
While you're heating your tortilla in the butter, you put the cheese on. So it melts and creates this like creamy consistency.
So what I do is once I put the warm tortillas on the plate, they may have turned off the podcast right now.
Whatever, they are listening intently to what's happening right now.
Okay, so once I've taken the warm tortillas off and put them on the plate, I put that cheese on the tortilla and fold them so that it gets melty in there.
Next level is on the pan.
What do you mean? Okay, so when the tortilla's
it's crisping the buttery tortilla, the cheese is melting.
Okay.
You got to try it.
I'm going to try it.
And then I used avocado this morning, and that's like next level too.
If I had it, I would have used it. I love, 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 love. Yes.
So listen, you and I are making healthy choices. Good Day Gather. I mean, look at us. We're having good days.
I will tell you, I have had good mornings because of Good Day Gather, and I'm really thankful for the initiative. Like, there is something for me about a checklist, an accountability group. I know it's not.
Y'all, I'm rolling my eyes right now. I'm the complete opposite. Nobody look at me. I don't want to know. No.
I feel like if I wanted, like this morning, I wanted to hit the snooze button, and I felt like all of the Gather Patreon moms were standing in my room going, "Come on, girl, get up. You can do it." And I did. I got up.
Okay, so I'm going to give a shout out to the Good Day Gather moms that hit the snooze button because it's okay, y'all. It's okay. We still love Jesus and our families.
Yes.
We're going to make it.
Yes.
Just go make a breakfast taco. It makes it all better.
Yes. But I have gotten up earlier and have been intentional with my mornings, and it has felt good. So I'm on the train.
We love you guys, and we're so excited for the rest of this Good Day Gather initiative. We have more fun stuff coming. I don't know if you've gotten your koozies yet, but my koozie, I've got it on my cup at home. I love it. I don't even take it off.
Yeah.
I just rinse it out in the sink and just keep on going.
Cute.
Yes, girl.
Okay, let's give a shout out before we move on. If you can still join us, just go to patreon.com/gathermoms, and the link's in the show notes. Just hop in at any time, and we'll send you the koozie and get you all caught up.
It'll be great. Okay, so we are continuing our series of mom struggles here in this podcast season, and today is about comparison.
Oh, boy.
Listen, I have good and bad things.
Yeah.
Okay, we did breakfast tacos. We starting off strong. Because I was thinking about comparison, and I actually do a lot of comparing in my life that's not bad.
Okay.
I compare grocery prices.
Okay.
Like when I go grocery shopping for the week, if you're not on sale, I'm not buying you. So I'm going to make my menu around the cheapest groceries.
How are you doing that? Are you going into a physical location?
No, I have a circular. Do you remember what those are?
Whoa. Stop it right now.
I get a circular in the mail every week from Kroger, and I look
Shut
through my circular.
up.
Yes, girl.
Really?
Yes. And then I get on my app, and I find my coupons.
Do you ever compare those prices with Walmart?
Yes, because I've been into Walmart more lately than usual. And there are things at Walmart that I only buy at Walmart because they're cheaper there.
Because I remember there was a long time for us where I was clipping coupons and shopping at Kroger. And Jeremy kept saying, "Kate, it's cheaper at Walmart, cheaper at Walmart." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to shop at Walmart." And now I just do grocery pickup at Walmart.
If Jeremy were standing here right now, I would say, I don't believe you. I'm
Really?
gonna keep shopping at Kroger. Yes.
Well, I bet you're doing better than me, but I love your intentionality with saving your family money by doing the circular like it is 1989. I am very impressed by that.
It brings me joy.
Really?
Yes, sitting on my bed with my Kroger circular brings me joy.
What?
I love it. I'm like, ooh, what are the weekly digital deals? Oh my God. I get so excited. Okay, so that's comparing, and I don't think that's bad.
No.
I also compare gas prices. Like, I have certain places I like to buy gas.
For sure.
And sometimes I will think about, okay, I have $1 off at Kroger, I'm going to go there, but I don't today, so I'm going to go to Costco. So
Okay.
I compare gas prices.
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh, definitely. And I can get real weird about it, especially when gas is like
Do you have Gas Buddy?
No, I did for a while. I got tired of myself. I generally just go to Costco.
Yes.
But if we're like on a trip or something and I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's $3.49. It was just $3.19 a mile ago.
We ain't doing it. Keep going. Keep going.
So I definitely do that. We just compared how we make breakfast tacos.
We did.
And we're the better for it.
I don't feel judged either. Do you feel
No,
judged?
no.
That was such a good.
It was
look
great.
at us. I compare clothes. So this is probably my Achilles heel because I'll go buy something at Old Navy and bring it home and be like, I just don't love it enough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look for it at Kohl's or Belk. I mean, you know me, my love for all these places. And so I compare clothes because I want to buy the thing I actually love, not just the thing that was like there in the moment.
Which is good.
So
Yeah.
I do that with my clothes. And then Jake, my son's going to college. We compared colleges.
Yeah.
We did tours and looked up things, and comparison is not all bad.
Okay, I actually really appreciate you doing the work to help get us to that point because I do think, especially when it comes to moms, we think about comparison and it does get a bad rap because we know the downside of it. But really, when we talk about and compare kind of how we're doing things, there's a lot of benefits there.
There are, because the basic idea of comparison is just examining like similarities and differences between two or more things. I mean, there's really nothing negative there. I think it becomes detrimental when we begin to let it seep into superiority or inferiority.
Yeah.
Like one is better, one is not good.
Yeah.
And especially when we talk about social comparison. The idea that I'm comparing myself with other people, other lifestyles.
Yeah.
You know, that whole grocery comparison, that's for me because I'm trying to make the best choice for me for groceries. So it's not hurting anybody. But then when social comparison jumps in and I'm comparing my body to another woman's body, then it becomes detrimental.
Yeah.
Because I'm either feeling less great or more great.
Yeah.
So those are the negative things.
Yeah.
And I think when we think about social comparison, it really kind of narrows down to our life and what's describing our life at the moment. Like think about jobs. If you have a job similar to somebody else's job, you might compare. Are they more successful? Are they making more money? Are they getting more praise at work? I mean, that's where we see things that line up with my life are where I tend to compare. Body image. I'm really not comparing my body image with models on social media. I don't know you.
Thank goodness.
I don't live in your life, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't. But if I'm out to dinner with my girlfriends and I have a friend that's looking really good that night, I might think to myself, oh, I wish I looked like that.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, she's lost 10 pounds. I wish I did that.
Her jeans are fitting a lot better than mine are.
Exactly. Which is so sad because that person's my friend, but
Yeah.
she's part of my life. I
Yeah.
see her on a regular basis. So that's where I'm comparing. I think for moms, I mean, this is huge because you are similar to me in that we're both moms. So, of course, I'm going to look at choices you're making or the way your kids are acting, and I'm going to compare what's happening in my life to yours. I think moms struggle with this a lot. And I think you struggle with it in seasons. You know, the potty training season, whose kid got there first? Or the school season, whose kid got the award at the end of the year? Or even right now, guys, with graduation, where's your kid going to school? How much scholarship did your kid get? I mean, it is like rampant because that's where my life is right now.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about the rest of you people out there potty training. High five, get it, girl.
Yeah.
But I sure am thinking about grad invites and parties and who's doing what. I mean, all that stuff is part of my life.
Yeah.
So don't you think that comparison really kind of follows us in what is most important in our life at that time?
That definitely makes sense. And I wonder if it's because, we're measuring our success. And so I'm with you. Yeah, I don't have a kid that I'm potty training right now. That doesn't even feel like that big of a deal to in this moment because I'm past that. And by the grace of God, we got through it. But I definitely know what you're saying. And I think that in my darkest moments when I'm comparing, I'm either trying to make myself feel better or I'm, unintentionally making myself feel worse.
And I think part of it is a happiness quest because happy feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to feel happy. I like to feel good. And there are decisions that sometimes I make during the day that make me feel happy. And sometimes, I'm just being vulnerable. If I walk out into a social situation and I feel like I'm looking really good, I'm happy.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm like, dang, I look good today.
Yeah.
And that seems shallow and frivolous. But honestly, moms, we like to feel happy. It makes us feel good.
Yes.
We're on a happiness quest.
Yes.
And the part of this scenario that gets us is when we lose that feeling of happiness, then we have to start chasing it again.
Okay.
And your chase may look different than the mom next to you. It may be a house chase. Who's got the cleanest? Who's got the most updated? All that kind of stuff. It might be a kid chase. I want my kids to be successful like your kids. We're chasing something. It's this idea of happiness that the world has sold us. Mm-hmm. This looks good on you and feels good on you. Go after it. And hopefully, I hope for all of you, you've gotten to that place in life where you figured out it does not satisfy.
Yeah. Isn't there this component of this that's, linked to a discontentment as we start looking around? Because I just am thinking about even, if I go to Target, I may feel good about my house, the things that are in my house. Or, even if I'm going to take it up a level, if, we walk into Restoration Hardware or, Pottery Barn or something, and I had left the house an hour ago, felt really good about it. But then I walk in there into these showrooms and the lighting is right and they've got everything set up and I'm like, oh, God, my house is a dump, you know, like
Yes.
all of our furniture has marks on it and,
Yes.
you know, it's chewed on a corner and blah, blah, blah. And there's a piece of that I think, you know, this discontentment that then comes as we start to compare something that's, you know, different than ours. And I don't know. So for me, that's an area where I'm conscious of social media because that's me stepping into Target. That's me stepping into a showroom of walking into a place that's going to trigger that in me. And so that's a guardrail where it's kind of like, okay, if I'm really working on comparison and not being discontent with where I am and what I have, then I've got to kind of be watching of what windows I'm opening to how other people are doing things and what's out there.
Okay, so I love that you said that because there's a phrase that's going around the world for many years now that we use a lot when we talk about comparison. Comparison is the
Thief of joy.
Okay, so think about the idea of a thief. You don't know it's coming.
Mm.
You walked into Target not knowing
Yeah.
that you were discontent.
Yeah.
And the thief came when you weren't aware and stole your joy.
Yeah.
That really puts it into perspective for me because so many times I'm like, I'm not trying to be not joyful. I'm not trying to be discontent.
Yeah.
It's a thief.
Yes.
It catches us when we least expect it.
Yeah, that's good.
We can do all the right things in our life and still have moments where that thief comes in to steal our joy because we've gone into Restoration Hardware. We've gotten on social media. We've gone to church and seen somebody in a dress. I mean, it is a thief. It comes when it's not expected and it tries to take from you.
Yes.
We see that throughout Scripture where Jesus talks about the thief coming into the sheepfold and trying to steal the sheep, or the thief coming in the night to steal. I mean, it's this idea that Jesus is saying you have to be aware. You have to be watchful.
Yeah.
And you don't have to live in fear, like, oh, I'm never getting on social media. I'm never going shopping again, because that's not positive well, I guess if you want to go live out in the boonies and make your own milk and chickens and
go on ahead, sis.
you can spin some cotton and make your own dresses. I mean, actually, that sounds kind of nice. I don't know. I might take that for a week. But I think moms, I want to keep living in the real world.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out practical ways to address this so that I don't become like, okay, well, I can't do any of those fun things anymore. Yes, you can.
Well, and I think just also just changing the lens on it, that just because something out there is great or someone out there is doing something great, that is not a knock on me.
Mm-mm.
Like, you can win and I can still be winning, and it doesn't, you know, and it to the concept of, this is a total rabbit trail, but you know, all boats rise together, that when you're winning, I'm winning.
Yep.
So you're making your breakfast tacos great. Okay. Tell me how, you know, because I want to know how you're doing it.
Yeah.
So instead of it being when you win, it's a knock to me. Okay. You won. Tell me how you did that. I want to know.
Yeah, I agree. We should be a team.
Yeah.
We should be about each other.
Yes.
And not separate.
Yeah.
Happiness is so shallow when you think about the difference between happiness and joy. You know, when I'm comparing and I'm feeling discontent with my life, that's so shallow because it's so surfacey.
Yeah.
It's so outward. It's so what other people see. It's so what I portray. It honestly has nothing to do with the insides. Mm-hmm. What's happening in my home, the love that's there, what's happening in my heart, what growth is happening in my life that people just can't see yet. Happiness is so shallow. It's so outwardly focused. It lacks depth. And so I think when we think about joy, I want you to think about how joy runs deep. Joy exists in the face of trial and hardship, and you don't notice it immediately. I mean, sometimes it takes watching a friend go through a trial to see just what you said, that boat rising, that joy rising and going, oh my gosh, look at them. They are thriving in the midst of this hard time because they have joy that runs deep. And when we don't have joy, we are going to be outwardly focused because it's the happiness quest. What can make me feel good today?
Yeah.
Versus joy, where I say, you know what, I can have this regardless of what's happening around me. So I read this quote this week that I thought was so good. It says, God never does his deepest work in the shallowest parts of our lives. And when I think about, like, I always relate this back to motherhood with my kids, like, what do I want for my kids? Do I want them to be happy, or do I want them to have faith that runs deep? And so when you think about, I've got this son about to graduate, and we look back at the last, 18 years of his life, it was not all roses and rainbows.
Yeah.
And the way that he is today is because he had to find joy in the pain.
Yeah.
And so the work that God did in him was in the deepest parts of him when he was in trial. And so when he wants to compare his journey with everybody else, it is not going to look the same. And he may think, man, I got dealt a harder hand than some people. But as his mom, I'm looking at him going, I'm so thankful because the person you are today is so much stronger. And mom, when you look at your life, do you want to be a strong mom that had to go through some trials and decide, you know what, I don't have to have what that mom has. I don't have to have what the world has, because that's where God's doing his deepest work in you, in those deep parts of your life, not the shallow parts that everybody can see. And I think as parents, we think that all the time with our kids, because you may feel like your kid's being judged on the outside by a decision that they made. And you're going, wait a second, you don't understand the growth he's already come from. Like, I've already seen him grow so much. I know he made a poor choice, but man, I'm so glad we're here instead of back there.
Yes.
Moms, you may stumble along this comparison trap more than once. Don't get down on yourself. There is growth happening in you that nobody else sees. You are coming a long way. And we can't, I just don't think I'm ever going to get to that place in life where I don't compare, because it is a thief. It's going to come at me when I least expect it.
Yeah.
What are some things that you feel like are most susceptible to comparison for you?
Definitely like anything outward appearance. So looks, hair, if someone's put together, their outfit, I think that's a lot of times when I see somebody, I'm comparing myself to, gosh, she really has it together. How I've grown more to where now I appreciate it. I'm like, how has she figured that out? Like, way to go, ma'am. But for a very long time, it felt like a knock to me. Like if someone else came into a room looking really good, it was like, oh, wow, okay. And it hurt. So I think comparing there, I think definitely comparing on how your children are doing and progressing. For sure in the newborn stage, it's like, there can be so much comparison on, when did your kids start sleeping through the night?
That was the first thing I thought of.
Really?
Yes.
And, or are they walking? Are they crawling? Are they eating? Are they talking? Do they do sign language? There's just all these little progression pieces that you start to compare on. And then I would say our homes. I think there's a lot of comparison for women. And I feel like maybe it's what I'm getting fed on my algorithm, but I just feel like there's just so much out there about homes, home decor, like all that stuff that started in it was like Trading Spaces in the late 90s that started this.
Well, that's a throwback.
Thing. Yes. On the TLC channel.
Yes.
Like that was before there was HGTV, Do you remember that TLC? Like it was the worst. They would swap homes and they would be like, like hot glowing feathers to somebody's wall.
I was just thinking, I would never sign up for that. Do not come in my master bedroom and put hay on my walls.
They were so terrible.
It was terrible. I don't know. Did they get sued? Maybe that's why that show's not on anymore.
Dude, and they would slap that mess together in like 2 days.
Ain't nobody doing good work in 2 days.
No. So that was a mess. But that kind of started that whole, just this whole thing where it became about, do it yourself. The trend started changing faster in homes. So now we're living in this space of, you have to have your home just like this or you're out, essentially. And so everyone is comparing homes, and that just can be really hard. And in my weakest spot, it can keep me from having people over because I'm thinking about, I need to do this update, or we need new carpet in here, or I need to paint these walls before I can have people over.
And think about how that relates to the idea of shallow and deep. Shallow says, I can't have people in my home because it's not perfect. Versus the idea of, but I want deep relationships, so I want to have people in my home.
Yeah.
We're choosing shallow over deep.
Yeah.
For me right now, it's tens. Anybody?
Okay.
My whole algorithm is tens.
What?
People that are getting spray tans, the fake tans, all the tans.
What?
Yes, it's all over my feed.
What a niche.
And listen, I have found the sunless tanner of all sunless tanners. So I'm going to put it in the show notes.
Have you?
I'm going to share my joy with you. Yes, I have found it. You do not have to go into the sun to look golden.
No, I know. I used tanning drops this morning.
Listen, I'm all about it.
2 hour bronze, 2 hour. Is that what you like?
No, it's not called that. No. I don't know the name of it, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to share my love with you people.
Can't wait to hear it.
And for me too, I am at a place in my life where I'm trying to find a potential another career. And I compare jobs. I
Okay.
compare success with
Okay.
other people and
Okay.
who's feeling successful and who's got a great job and
Okay.
who's contributing financially to their family. Y'all have heard me talk about this before. And, you know, it's that whole idea. I think for moms, we have so many jobs in our lifetime. We work, we go home. We work, we go home. We have all these different places in life.
Yes.
And you get to a spot in your age where you go, I feel like I should have arrived, but I haven't. Don't know what's happening here. Guys, it's so personal.
Yeah.
All of us have something that
Yeah.
sticks in our heart.
Yeah.
That makes us compare and that steals our joy and that makes us shallow because we all know the shallow feeling that a clean house or a new outfit brings. It's fabulous.
Yeah, and
for
it
an
does,
hour.
Yes, that dopamine, that happiness, that surge that you get when you look around the room and you're like, "Ooh, this is nice." And then them kids come home
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
It's gone. The outfit gets wrinkled.
Yeah.
You wash it and it doesn't look the same the next time.
Bless it.
I mean, guys, I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that. I don't want to live in that space anymore. So I want us to get really practical. How can we struggle well through comparison and find hope? And so I'm going to give you just two things. Number one, think about comparison like a chase. It really is. We're always chasing the next, latest, and greatest. But think about joy as a choice. Do you want to chase or do you want to choose joy? I want to choose joy. And I think the question you need to ask yourself is, what am I chasing? Because it could be different depending on your season of life. Are you chasing a great house? Are you chasing successful kids? Are you chasing job success? Are you chasing a body image? Are you chasing a great tan? What are you chasing? And then once you figure that out, just decide, okay, I'm going to make a choice. I love my home.
Yeah.
My family lives here. We've got great memories here. I love the space in my life that God's put me in. Maybe I don't have a full-time job, so I'm going to embrace the fact that I have extra time to love on my family and do things. My body may not look the way I want to this summer, but I'm going to embrace the fact that I'm healthy, that I can get up every morning and go spend time with people I love. It's a choice.
Yeah.
So instead of chasing, let's choose. And the next thing, comparison separates, but joy connects. So that whole idea about comparing yourself with somebody else, what you're doing is you're making a separation between good and bad.
Yeah.
They're good, I'm bad.
Yeah.
I'm good, they're bad. They're superior, I'm inferior. Think about that idea of like a tearing apart. And just what Kate said a few minutes ago about all boats rise together, joy actually connects us. Because you found joy in my breakfast taco and I found joy in your breakfast taco. And we're connected now because we're like, we both had breakfast tacos.
Yeah.
I think, too, I just want to go ahead and say this before summer comes, vacations.
That's a good one. Good.
Separate.
Yeah.
Because I look at you on social media and where you got to go, and I feel and yuck and jealous and mad and frustrated. And instead of being able to have joy for your exciting time, instead I'm mad because I didn't have it.
Right.
Comparison separates, but joy connects. And joy, I can say, I'm so excited you guys got to go away for a week together and have family time. That's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
And you know what? I may get to do that, but maybe not right now. Maybe I do it in September, or maybe I don't do it this year. Guys, my husband and I have had this conversation. You're about to send a kid to college. You have to make choices. You know, I can't do everything.
Yeah.
But those times will come.
Yeah.
And I would much rather be a woman that connects with other women instead of separating us because we've made different choices.
Yes.
Some things that you can do to overcome this whole struggle with comparison. Kate mentioned it earlier, limit social media. You have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Do I want to get on social media and feel this chase? Or do I want to like read a good book or sit outside and, you know, be in the sunshine? We can make that choice. We actually have the power to do that. Pray before going to social gatherings. Before you hang out with your girlfriends and you know they're going to talk about something that's going to make you go, oh, I wish I had that. Just pray before you go. God, would you help me tonight just to be really excited for everybody there?
Yeah.
Just to celebrate them and be like, oh, man, good for you. And would you just comfort my heart to know that you see my story too?
Yeah.
And you're working in my life too. And even if I don't have a great thing to share with everybody else, I can still celebrate their great things.
Well, and, you know, especially with social gatherings, because that's one that triggers me because I walk in and compare. And I think, you know, it's just the dumbest thing that you think everybody's looking at you when they're not. Everybody's too consumed with themselves looking at you. But, you know, if we can do what you said, praying in the car on the way there, and then looking for opportunities in that space to cheer another person on. So how can you lean in with somebody else? Take the spotlight off of you and put it on someone else. How are you? That's amazing. Cheer them on and lean in someone else's life.
Okay, the next one, manage your inner critic. we've talked about this before on the podcast. You talk to yourself more than anybody else.
Correct.
So when you're getting ready in the morning, you're talking to yourself. Man, I hate my skin. My hair's so flat today. I don't like my body. Manage that and go, no, I'm not going to say those things to myself. I think that one of the ways that we do that is journaling.
Yeah.
Write it down. When you hear it in your head, write it down so that you can physically see, I do not want to think that anymore.
Yep.
Put notes around your house and on your mirror to remind you the positive, good things that God says about you instead of what that inner critic is saying. Confide in somebody you love and ask them to help you speak words of encouragement.
Good.
You know, say to your spouse, man, I'm struggling right now, honey. I just feel like I'm not healthy. I'm not making good choices. I don't like my body. Would you just speak words of encouragement over me? Would you remind me how beautiful I am? Sometimes we don't do that. And then we get lost in that lonely, dark place when if we had just spoken it out loud, somebody would have come alongside us and said, I'm going to cheer you on.
Yeah, that's great.
So manage that inner critic. And last, practice gratitude. We've talked about this before too. The quickest way to not feel sorry for myself is to think about all the great things.
Correct.
That God has done for me.
Yes.
God, we do this with our kids all the time. I'm like, stop being so ungrateful. I just bought you that yesterday. Oh my gosh, look at your room. You got all the stuffed animals. We do this all the time, but we don't do it with ourselves.
Yeah.
And this whole good day gather where we're spending time in the morning talking to God, that's a perfect time for you to practice gratitude.
Yeah.
And say, good morning, God. I just want to thank you for all the good things in my life today, and just start listing them out. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to set your perspective for the day in a way that instead of looking at the world as I have less, I'm looking at the world saying, I'm so grateful for what I do have.
Okay, so can we run this through practically? Because I don't remember all of your steps, but I want to walk back through them. So let's say I'm a mom. I've got all my kids in the car. We're going to the pool. I've got my swimsuit on. By the time we even get, you get out of the car, it's hot. You were only in the car for a few minutes. So then you get out and it's hot. The cement is hot. Some kid's trying to jump in the pool and you're like, bro, you don't have any sunscreen on yet. You're trying to okay. Then you look across the pool
Yes.
and there's this gorgeous woman. I mean, she's beautiful. She's sitting there in her bathing suit, just glistening goddess.
Yes.
And her little children are playing happily. No one's fighting. And
No one's saying, Mom, come swim with me.
Yeah.
They're just happy out there by themselves.
Everything's good. And you feel that comparison monster rev up in you. Okay, so let's walk through your steps. What was the first one?
Limit social media.
Okay, so I think that would be a good one, because if you're already walking into that situation with that as your lens, then it's going to tip you off faster.
That's right.
Okay, what's the second one?
Pray.
Okay, so I think that's what made me start thinking about this first, is because then thinking about, wow, and instead of wanting her to drown in the pool, you just stop and you pray for her and you pray good things and you pray blessings over her, and you see how it changes your heart.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
What was the next one?
Manage your inner critic.
Okay, so then you talk back to yourself.
I'm not going to do this today.
That's right.
I'm here with my kids to have a great time. I'm so excited we had the afternoon to go to the pool. God, would you just help me engage with them right now and just be excited?
Yes.
And then the last one, practice gratitude.
Yes. And so then continuing in that prayer language like you were talking about, and just looking at things that you can be thankful for in that moment, and even being thankful for her. I'm so thankful that she can come to the pool with her kids. I'm thankful that she's healthy, and and then looking for an opportunity to engage with her and encourage her. And if your kids I love kids, they end up playing together.
Yes.
And so then you're talking to another mama.
Listen, and inevitably they're like, Mom, get her number. We're going to have a play date. Can you put, and you're like, I don't even know this person.
No, introverted Kate is like, and just give it to him one digit off. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, she just said that.
No, I've never done it.
Somebody out there has Kate's number in their phone and it's one digit off, and they keep calling you and they're like, why did she not answer? What's happening?
I've never done it, but can I tell you, I have strong desires to be like, okay. 6702.
You're such a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, sure, here's my number, and my front door's unlocked, and just come in and have whatever you want. Yes, no big deal.
So just, if you see her and you talk to her, you can say, that is the cutest suit. Can I tell you, it makes my day. If I'm at the pool and another mom is like, I love your suit. I'm like, oh my
Yes.
Thank you. Let me tell you where I got it.
Yes.
And here's the discount code. I
Yes.
mean, it just makes your day. So look for an opportunity to cheer that mama on.
Well, and I wanted to do a little follow-up. So several weeks ago, Kate made this ploy for moms as we swimsuit shop with our daughters.
Uh-huh.
And that's comparison at its finest,
Yeah.
Not only for your daughter, and I just want to be vulnerable as a mom for myself, looking at my daughter in a swimsuit and thinking what all the other little girls might look like.
Sure.
I mean, I've compared my kids' bodies with other kids' bodies for as long as I've had kids.
Can I tell you? So we went to Italy not that long ago. So I just thought I'll get a new swimsuit because we went into this it's like a specialty swimsuit because I was just out in this area that had like a swimsuit shop or whatever. So we went in, and can I tell you, I was laughing out loud in the bathroom. Like these Bobo cheek bottom
French cut.
It was either those were the option was either like a French cut situation where we're just cheeks out, or some like very granny panty, like with like the waist up to my like bra line. It's like, friend, is there not a happy middle here? But I was really just like giggling to myself in the bathroom, and I giggled too because I was like, God, thank you for freedom. That I'm not walking out of here crying, but I'm walking out of here laughing because just none of these just worked.
No.
There will be something that works.
Yes.
For this body that you have created as a masterpiece.
Yes.
But this was not it.
Yes. And your words rang in my ear as I stood in that dressing room with her. And I was so thankful because it gave me a perspective to embrace that moment for what it was. And when she put a suit on that she loved, I celebrated with her.
Way to
I'm
go.
so glad you loved that. You look so
Way to
beautiful.
go.
And when she put one on that maybe wasn't great, I said, you know what? I don't think that fits just right. Let me go grab another one. The language just poured out of me. It was so easy. And I went home and told Greg, I said, I'm just so thankful that in her sweet mind right now, she loves her body.
Yeah.
And she loved the things she put on. And we didn't have to worry about the comparison. Versus me, when I stand in front of a mirror in a swimsuit, I immediately jump to what I don't like.
Yeah.
I just want to hone that little sweet innocence in them and be like, oh, I wish you could stay this way forever. Mom, the way that we struggle with comparison does fall onto our children.
Sure.
And we have to be careful that we're not teaching them a way of life that's just going to set them up for, sadness.
Yeah.
You know what? We're so excited. We have a car that we can drive. We have
Yes.
schools that we can go to. We can go out to eat once a week and have a fun meal together. We can stop by Sonic. We can do all those things and celebrate them instead of comparing with other people.
Love.
So just want to encourage you as you go into the summer where I think it may even be harder with comparison because of all the things that we do in the summers. Would you just follow these little steps that we talked about today? We're going to put them in the show notes and just remind yourself, oh my gosh, God sees me. He knows my story. And he really is giving you things in your life that are going to grow you deep. He doesn't want you to be shallow, mama. He wants you to be deep.
That's
Thanks,
so good.
moms. We love you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye, moms.